Welcome. Today we are reviewing Shenks and Bombergers from Michters. Are they bottles that you should hunt down? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back to the Bourbon Retriever, where I go in the wild, hunt bourbon, and bring it back for you. Today we are reviewing the Shenks and Bombergers. These are two limited edition bottles from Michters. A little bit backstory on the bottles. So John Shenks is the one who founded the distillery back in the day, and that is what the first bottle is named after, John Shenks, the original founder. The distillery over time changed its name and went to Bombergers, which is the name of the other limited edition bottle. And eventually the name of the distillery moved to Michters, and that was named after the founders' two sons, Michael and Peter. You put those together, you mash them up a little bit, and it turns into Michters. So that is a rough breakdown of the history. Quick and dirty. There's a lot more that goes on there. The company changed hands several times. Prohibition did a number on the brand and distillery, but the Michters brand has been brought back recently. I know they do a lot of contract distilling. That's one of the biggest secrets in the industry that everyone wants to learn. Who is doing their contract distilling? Many people out there have some guesses, but Michters has not confirmed who does their contract distilling. So I've had several Michters products. Over here on the shelf, I have the Michters Barrel Proof Rye, the Michters Barrel Proof Bourbon. I've also tried the Michters 10-year Bourbon and Rye. Also a lot of their shelf-stable products. I'd be like their Sour Mash, their Bourbon, their Rye. But I have never owned a Shenks or Bombergers. I actually still don't own these. I got these samples from a friend, Mike. Thank you, Mike. I could not have done this video without you. I really appreciate it. This is the first time I've tasted Shenks and Bombergers. I have not had it before, so this is gonna be on the spot review, first impressions. So first, we're gonna do the Shenks bottle. These do change from year to year. Both these are the 2020 version. I don't have the 2023. I know it now has a lot more malted rye in it. But the 2020 Shenks, it comes at a 91.2 proof. They're always 91.2. This one is aged in Chica-pin barrels, I think. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I think they have changed some of the finishing barrels they're using now. But the Shenks is a sour mash, and it uses a lot of rye in the mash bill. But Michters doesn't disclose the exact mash bill of Shenks. All right, on to the nose. Okay, it's very fruity, very light. I would equate this to maybe a rare breed rye. I'm getting a lot of those notes. I'm not getting a lot of rye on the nose, but it is definitely very delicate and light. I would equate this to something you drink maybe in summer, springtime. It just reminds me of that outdoor hanging out, sun shining. I'm definitely getting a light fruit, maybe a green apple, maybe a pear, something like that. All right, onto the palate. All right, you definitely can tell the rye on the palate. The whole finish, late part of this drink is all rye. If you aren't a rye person, you probably won't enjoy this drink. That said though, it's not too heavy rye. This definitely tastes much more like a sweeter rye. So it makes me think it's probably aged a little bit. Typically ryes, they need to be 8 years to kind of get that nice sweetness into it. Otherwise it gets this kind of hay, grainy feel to it that is just super off-putting. Okay, the front of the drink, it is super sweet. You would not guess it's a rye from the front of the palate. It's almost maybe Buffalo Tracy, not quite Buffalo Trace sweetness, but maybe like a glazed donut, something like that. It's very nice and sweet. And then around mid palate, it turns into 100% rye. You get that nice proofness on the back end. I would never guess this is 91 proof. I would think it drinks much hotter, but that is the rye influence on the back end, making you think that it's a little hotter. All right, overall, I think that is a very pleasant drink. It's not super complex though. I'm only getting maybe 2 or 3 notes on it. It doesn't include a lot of the darker molasses, darker wood notes that I really enjoy in bourbons. So this isn't gonna be necessarily high on my list. And I think these are normally around $90 to $100. Secondary is higher, maybe closer to 150, maybe 200. I haven't seen them really move at 200, but they're somewhere around the 150-ish. I don't know if I'd pay $90 to $100 for this bottle. I think you can find other substitutes that are either shelf stable or maybe other limiteds that are cheaper that I think are very similar experiences and don't require the time and effort that you're gonna need to put in to find this bottle. I would suggest if you can't find this, maybe go out and get a rare breed rye. I think that would be a pretty decent substitute for this bottle. It's not going to give you the exact same experience, but it's much easier to find and it's cheaper, and I think it gives you a lot of the same notes. Okay, so yeah, for the Shenks, I would focus on getting other LEs, maybe their barrel-proof ryes, their barrel-proof bourbons. I know the Michter's 10s are a lot more expensive, so I'm not going to put those in the same category. But the barrel-proof bourbons and ryes, I think, are a better value than the Shenks. All right, moving on to the Bombergers. This comes in at a much higher proof. It is 108. And this is a bourbon, and I think it's also finished in the Chickapink barrels. Okay, instantly off the nose, I enjoy this much more than this Shenks. This is much more my profile. I'm getting more of the darker molasses notes in this, with a nice bit of sweet wood, not over oaked, but you can tell that there's some aging on this. They don't release the mash bill or the age of either the Shenks or Bombergers, but if I had to guess, I would guess the Bombergers is older. All right, onto the palate. All right, that is really good. This reminds me a lot of a 1792 Foolproof, but proof down. I'm getting a lot of the same flavor notes that I get on Barton. It is that darker molasses note, a lot more oak on this palate. You can really taste that wood. And there's a longer finish with this, which you would expect. It's 108 versus the other one was a 91 proofer. And I think I've said this in other videos, but this comes in at, I think, the perfect proof point. Somewhere between that 107 to 115, somewhere in that area, I think is just the best proof to really get the flavors of the bourbon without being too watered down and also not too proofed out just to blow out your palate. Man, that is good. Wow. I think I would rather have this Bombergers than the barrel proof ryes and the barrel proof bourbons. Yeah, that's really good. For $100, I would buy this bottle. Trying to think about the effort I put into it. That's always the difficult, right? Because you can't get every LE from your store. You're either gonna have to trade in your loyalty points that you booked up through the year buying other bottles, and you can only really cash in on so many LE bottles. And then, is this a bottle you're worth paying secondary on? I really enjoy this drink. The issue is though, you can get alternatives, right? So I said this tastes very similar to 1792 Foolproof, and that bottle's 50, 55 bucks. So when this one comes in 100, it's like, well, I can get two 1792 Foolproofs versus Bombergers, but that's just a good drink. On the front of the palate, you get a little bit of the oak, and then in the middle of the palate, it turns into just this caramel bomb, but it's a really dark caramel, maybe a little burnt. And then the end palate, it just carries on. You get a little bit of spice on the back end, but not too heavy, and it lingers for a good finish for a 108 proof bourbon. So I think Bombergers is a buy for me at $100. Would I pay the $150 for it? I don't think I would go up to $150, just because the alternatives in the marketplace. For that price, you can get like Calumet 16, which I think gives you a very similar experience without having the hassle of chasing it down. And that was come in for about, what, 130, 120, somewhere in there. This is a bottle I'll hunt for. I don't know exactly how the malted rye will change it though. I know they're switching to some of that, and I'm a little concerned how much that might alter the profile because I'm not a big malted rye fan, but I'm just gonna try it and see if it lives up. So that's my review of the Bomberger and the Shenks. If you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. But before you leave, check out this video or this video, and until next time, cheers.